Kimchi's good. Excuse me. No. Applications and products. And there's like a really dedicated, passionate developer community here, which is great. Well, it's pretty hot actually. To learn about Mina.
Hey everybody, welcome. We are at MinaCon, day 3 of MinaCon. I'm here with Boris from Aligned Layer, and we're bringing you another episode of Kimchi Bytes, this time from Istanbul, Turkey. We've got our milk, also known as Süt, sponsored by Sütaş. This episode is brought to you, last time we brought it to you, 7-Eleven Kimchi, this time this Sütaş in Turkey. But Boris, why don't we get started? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Aligned Layer.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. I'm excited to try some Turkish kimchi. Should be interesting. Surprised you guys found some here. But yeah, so I am part of the ecosystem team at Aligned. My story in crypto and Web3 is a little bit non-conventional. I'm actually a scientist by training, finishing my PhD in molecular genetics, but joined Aligned about 4.5 months ago. And as part of the ecosystem team, my job is to educate people, work with partners, find new use cases, kind of grow the whole developer ecosystem we're trying to build on top of Aligned, and generally help people understand the importance of zero-knowledge proof verification and the potential use cases.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll get into those. We got a lot, I think, to work through here. But maybe before we do, I'm curious, just coming from a molecular genetics background, how does that work transitioning into Web3?
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting into crypto for the past few years, going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole and closer to like protocol level, just because I find it very interesting. I won't go into this whole story, but I got into the space initially through DeSci, or decentralized science, as I was thinking about problems in science that kind of pushed me away from my intended academic career path. Things like, how do we bring more funding to science or create better incentives for science? And then I met people who were, applying ideas from DAOs and mechanism design to these kind of questions. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm not working on any science applications right now in crypto, but I'd say like the transferable skills are useful, right?
Sure.
Right. Biology is all about telling stories using data, and that is kind of what I do for work now. It's like, yeah, telling stories about technology.
And I think the DeSci ZK world is also coming very, very soon. A team called BioSnarks that is working on proving model inference across adversarial parties. So a hospital, a research institution, a regulator are all able to run models and verify their outputs without sharing that data amongst themselves. And just the ZKML world in general, I think with DeSci, there's just going to be so many and there already are so many interesting things that are happening.
Yeah, it's a bit of a digression, but I heard a really good take on the podcast, actually. It was like Taryn Chitra talking about this, how, a lot of the programmable cryptography that's being developed within this industry right now has lots of applications in healthcare and research. And it might take 10 years, 20 years for the compute to get fast enough to work on like genome scale data sets. But ZK, fully homomorphic encryption, these things will be used beyond crypto in the future for sure. So it's like, meme coins are kind of funding future scientists kind of discoveries.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like the house always wins in the casino, but the house might also do some interesting things.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so maybe we get into our first bite here. Shout out to Becky, who was pouring some sauce on these, and I saw a pretty big squirt come on this one, but yeah, Turkish hot sauce, we'll see.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Okay. Oh, that's not too bad at all. Kimchi's good.
It was sitting out for a few hours, which also shout out to Kana, who's just behind the camera here. If we get food poisoning later tonight, he's your man.
It's fermented, so it should be good.
That's what he said. Yeah. Okay, so maybe tell us a little about Aligned. What is Aligned Layer?
Yeah, so Aligned is a zero-knowledge proof verification layer for Ethereum. The whole mission behind Aligned, the raison d'etre, is to make zero-knowledge proof verification on Ethereum a lot more affordable, a lot more scalable, and a lot faster because, well, I'll get into ZK in a second, but right now this is a major bottleneck that needs to be solved if we want to allow ZK to get adopted more widely and also to let it work with Ethereum better. So as I'm sure within ZK, and I'm not a cryptographer, I'm not going to explain this in a lot of detail, but generally you had a prover which is able to convince another party that some computation or some information is correct by generating a proof. And that other party is the verifier. So without needing to rerun the computation or even see the data, they're able to verify that it is valid, that is correct, right? So this is like big brain idea. And it's really relevant in the context of blockchains. People have heard about ZK rollups. Mina for CKL1, for example, has very interesting architecture that uses ZK. But one thing people don't realize is that, especially in the context of Ethereum, right? So proving, there's lots of ways it's getting faster. There's prover networks, there's hardware acceleration, there's new proof systems, but verification has to be done on Ethereum in the EVM, in the Ethereum virtual machine. So the verification portion, that code needs to be written in Solidity. And this ends up being very, very slow, and it's limited by the inherent limitations of the EVM. And it's a major cost bottleneck because basically, it's just not a very efficient verifier. So the whole idea behind Aligned is to allow people to use whatever proofs they want through us, submit them to us, we verify them in Rust or like native code and not in Solidity, and then post those results to Ethereum. So we're not a blockchain. We are a decentralized network of verifiers, and we get our security from Ethereum because we're built as an eigenlayer AVS, or actively validated service. So we are trying to improve Ethereum's capability to verify zero-knowledge proofs while not competing with Ethereum. We get our security from Ethereum itself because this is the only way that we think people can start to use ZK at scale today.
Right.
Basically.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, let's get in. I have some questions, but let's get into the next one. I have a feeling it will. Yeah. We're moving left to right here. Do you need any?
No. Let's see some suits. No, I think I'm okay. Yeah. Let's try number 2.
Yeah. I see a bit with a nice bit of something there, so let me get in there.
This one's got a sriracha vibe. Also not too hot.
Also not too hot.
Yeah. And this kimchi is good.
So if I'm playing that back, the advancements in ZK have been rapid over the last 10 years, I would say. And the EVM as it was being designed and written in Solidity doesn't have necessarily the kind of like capabilities without external tooling to be
Exactly. Or specific precompiles, which are like programs that allow certain operations to happen much more efficiently outside the EVM or other virtual machines. Again, non-computer engineer, this is my understanding. Like some types of ZK are kind of favored within the EVM because precompiles have been built to support them. But that doesn't exist for most systems.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. We talked a little bit before about how much stuff within ZK at the moment are really at the infrastructure level. And so there's a lot of kind of context that's required to be able to grasp the benefit and also who it's for. So yeah, what are some of the questions that you frequently get?
Yeah, so I mean, like I did mention this already, we are not an L2, we're not a blockchain. We are using existing Ethereum validator nodes to run our software through eigenlayer again. So that's kind of like first misconception. Another thing people like to know about is like, what proof systems do we support? And we have a bunch in our docs. I won't list them all off now, but the thing about how we're designing or how Aligned's architecture is designed, we can very easily add new verifiers. So it's really just a question of what people need. And we can support verifiers that are, or rather proof systems that get developed in the future that aren't even really in production on Ethereum.
Okay.
But yeah, like you mentioned, this whole topic it's kind of complicated. I mean, you need a lot of context to really grasp it. And we are working on figuring out the best ways to explain this, right? Because first you have to understand blockchains and this concept that blockchains are verifiable computers where all the nodes in the network re-execute the computation and come to consensus on it, right? And then you can understand that ZK allows you to verify computation without re-execution. So this is really, we believe, the only way that blockchains can scale. So you can't add this is the only way you can add more hardware to a blockchain. There's this whole idea if you have a network, then since every node needs to re-execute the transaction, say to create a block, the network is limited by the slowest node. So within the Ethereum ecosystem, there's a lot of conversation about how do we make Ethereum faster while still ensuring that it remains decentralized, right? And people can stake from home without some like supercomputer, right? A server, right? So yeah, that's like, once people start wrapping their head around ZK, and that can be used for roll-ups or identity applications or new games or all sorts of things that we haven't even, like, we don't even know what we're going to see yet. Then you can start to understand, okay, so why aren't we using ZK? And it's because it is really expensive. There's computational costs on the proving side and then the verification side. And when something is computationally expensive on Ethereum, this actually means like this is financially expensive because of like gas transaction fees. Yeah. So then people start to understand this bottleneck and appreciate that we are creating a system that allows people to start using ZK in more ways today.
Yep. Perfect. That's a perfect overview. And I think that's a nice kind of segue to the next question is around like Mina and the relationship between Mina and Aligned, and originally the Mina to Ethereum bridge that was coming from Lambda class. But Mina's design is exactly working on that as well, where instead of every node on the network being a full copy of the ledger, when you're actually syncing a node, you're actually verifying a proof that the current state is valid in Mina. And so all nodes on the network actually are proofs. And yeah, maybe we can have one more bite and then we can get into like where did, how do Mina and Aligned come together in that story as well.
Let's do it. NAR 3.
I don't even know where the sauce is on this one.
I think, yeah, my strategy has just been going straight in there.
I don't think I got the on this anything, but that's okay. I know the next two are going to be, and the viewers out there is like, bullshit. Sorry, yeah. I'm not like a hot sauce freak, so I think these last two are going to be pretty good.
Okay, so in the case of like, let's talk a little bit about how Aligned came to be, and I think the interesting story around Lambda class working this with, around the Mina design.
Totally. So this predates me joining Aligned, but the history of Aligned actually starts at Lambda class, which is it is a deep tech venture studio based in Argentina. That has been building ZK infrastructure and software and products for clients for years now. So they've worked with like the biggest names in ZK within crypto. And Mina had I guess like contracted Lambda class to build a bridge from Mina to Ethereum to connect these three ecosystems. And what happened was they realized like they built this bridge, but then verifying the Kimchi proofs from Mina on Ethereum was really, really expensive. So yeah, chef Kimchi. And then they realized, okay, this bridge has been built, but because of how much it costs in gas, $200 or something, it was kind of prohibitively expensive. Yep. And the team had started thinking about ways they could design things differently to bring down this cost. And this is around the same time that EigenLayer was like launching. Mm-hmm. And for people who aren't familiar with EigenLayer is a protocol on Ethereum that allows you to restake ETH. So Ethereum validators have to stake ETH to, have the right to propose blocks and run the network and get rewards for that. But you can then restake ETH to secure additional services that those nodes run. And this is very, very special because it allows you to kind of get economic security for a decentralized network without requiring you to bootstrap your own security and create your own validator set and basically create another blockchain. So with this in mind, the team realized this architecture for Aligned. Let's do the verification in these operator nodes, if your validator is running our software, and ensure that they're doing the job of verification correctly with this economic security. If they misbehave, we have this idea of programmable trust where they can be penalized and get slashed for not correctly verifying proofs. So then they started building this, and Aligned founders came from Lambda class, and this is like the first product that spun out of Lambda class. They fundraised in the first half of this year, and then I joined a little bit later. to do stuff like this. Hot sauce on camera, exactly, in foreign countries. Yeah. And yeah, so that was kind of like the backstory, right? And now I'm here at MinaCon, meeting this community, thinking about cool ways that we're going to use this bridge and connect the two ecosystems, which is, I think there's a lot of exciting stuff there. But that's kind of like the original story, and we can talk more about timeline and bridges and cool stuff in Mina maybe after we.
Nice. Yeah.
That was next.
Let's get into this next slide. Okay. Okay. So this is our friend Kana here. Really laid it on.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Not shying away. We're just doing it.
Yeah. Let's go. Not so bad. Yeah, that's tasty. Yeah, no, and like, I mean, it's going around in the US right now, because I know like people will go crazy for hot sauce there. You know, it's or they also like pure chilies on here now. Okay, the last one I think will be. Well, see, I'm actually okay with not being destroyed by this.
We have a nice dinner after this. So.
Yeah.
You could have taste buds.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think what we've been talking about over the last couple of days is all the things that are people building and that potentially can be ported over to Ethereum and be able to provide that value to the Ethereum community as well as in people building stuff here. What are some of the kind of things you're looking forward to, and what have you found interesting here over the last couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, so it was really cool to have this opportunity to learn a lot about. That's pretty hot actually. To learn about Mina and to see what people are working on. And there's like a really dedicated, passionate developer community here, which is great. And I think that's how it is slow burn.
Yeah, it's fine. It's coming in.
So, yeah, I mean, I think what's really interesting about Mina is there's like unique applications that can be built with ZK on Mina. And as I've gone deeper into the ZK space, you know, some of the things that have stood out to me are like the idea that you can actually generate proofs, like ZK proofs, in a user's browser or like from a client side, which opens up a lot of possibilities because you don't need to use an external server to have proofs generated somewhere, kind of simplifies things. And I think this would be really cool for like identity applications, games, all kinds of stuff, probably interoperability. Like there's a lot of possibilities. And now once this bridge is operational and, you know, sometime later this year, all of that state on Mina can be bridged over to Ethereum. And what that means is smart contracts and apps on Ethereum will be able to use the data from things happening on Mina to create new experiences, new products, new services, open up this world of data to more possibilities. You guys got, excuse me, kind of exactly what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. What we were talking about right before this as well is just the fact that as we prove more and more and more computation and data, we don't know exactly what people are going to do with it, but we know that it is 100x, 1000x cheaper than what has come before it in terms of being able to verify it through recursion. All of Mina's state is compressed into one proof that can then be verified just with one action. And I think that has the potential to bring a lot of value to the Ethereum ecosystem as well.
Well, we might need to get you some kind of suit. You're gonna have to have some milk for this.
One of the other things that we've talked about today or this week is where Mina's almost getting ready to launch the node in browser, which also is an interesting kind of application in itself. It's similar to how Mina itself is it was kind of the first EK rollup, but at the protocol level itself, just being able to have a node in your browser and not needing to connect to any RPC endpoints to verify that the current state of the chain is valid is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And we think that like getting that into the Ethereum world as well is also, or being able to use that kind of real-time verification bridged over to Ethereum could be really interesting.
Yeah.
As well as lots of voting stuff, identity primitives. Again, anything really client-side just allows the computation to happen locally and then verified.
Yep.
And the interaction of these proofs as well, I think are also really interesting. And what I know a lot of folks in the Mina community are excited about is being able to kind of like bridge that gap with some of the things that the Ethereum community needs as well.
Definitely. Yeah. And like echoing some of the things you said, being able to bring data between the two blockchains just unlocks so many possibilities. And I know you guys have over at Mina a lot of stuff on the roadmap This is going to be launching sort of in the next 6 months, like DeFi kind of coming to Mina. There are some very smart people working on a bridge from Ethereum to Mina. And I think with these pipes in place, we're going to see a lot of interest from developers on both sides.
Yeah.
Once they realize the cool things that we built and the opportunity to expand these ecosystems. So yeah, I'm very grateful to get to know people here and excited to see what the future holds.
Cool. Nice. Okay. That one got to you a little bit. I think you might have gotten a little more than me.
Maybe, yeah.
But
Okay, this last one, okay.
I'm gonna go for the biggest bite possible just because I feel like you suffered more than I did on that one. I might have just got
Doing it for the camera, yeah.
Okay. No, that's what. Okay, so
Yeah, please.
while it's sinking in, I guess this is the fun part. Tell us let's wrap up with what's next for Align. What are you excited about? What are the things that are coming up?
Yeah, so
Your water might just make it worse.
let's see. Jeez, this is spicy. Okay, so Aligned, like we've really moved super quickly this year. We are, the project was only announced in March, and that's when like fundraising kicked off.
Yeah, that's crazy actually in such a short.
Yeah, like kudos to the team. The engineers in Argentina, they are shipping like mad.
We should say this is October, so
Yeah.
for the
They've been working like crazy. Yeah, it's really shows. Right now, we've had a test net in operation for a few months already. Works well. We can verify 4,000 proofs per second. Seems robust. They're adding some more features. And yeah, we're gonna be live on mainnet in just a few weeks. So the idea here is we just really want to make sure that this infrastructure exists, so people can start building these again today. Like it's sort of like with broadband, we don't even know exactly what people are gonna build. We have lots of ideas, like bridges, for example, CK oracles, different architectures, rollups, and app chains. But we just want to make sure that these tools are available to builders right now, so they have the freedom to experiment with ZK and figure out new ways can be used. Just like when broadband internet spread across the world, somebody wasn't trying to build the internet so they can build YouTube, but because this infrastructure existed, things like YouTube were able to become reality.
Yeah, and having, I think, like having all of the stuff that's going on with all the different proof generators on, the proving side of the world with SP1, Risk Zero.
Yep.
We have some work going on here with ONVM, Nexus. I think it's this really cool balance of builders and then tooling that is able to compile that to, with ZK, then being able to verify it, and then underneath we have something like Ethereum or Mina that has kind of the very robust distributed systems that have been in place for a long period.
Allowing people to settle the data.
Lots of money and value kind of living there. But I think it brings this, like, when I think about the kind of like infrastructure apps discussion, and that's what kind of where I was going with like broadband versus YouTube. It's like, it feels like the ingredients are there where there's healthy pressure on both sides to be able to kind of, I think drive this through. So
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, this just maybe a closing note is the whole infra versus apps debate that people talk about on Twitter a lot. Like, yes, we need more apps, but at the same time, this infrastructure is not ready for like internet scale.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. So of course, new apps, that's exactly why we're doing this. We want cool new experiences for users, more trustless systems, more secure systems, more verifiable systems ultimately, right?
Yep.
But we're excited to still be working on infra for those reasons. So yeah, I mean, mainnet soon. We're gonna be having an incentivized, like a mainnet program as well, launching, before the end of the year, where, excuse me, applications and products like the Mina to Ethereum bridge will be getting incentivized for usage, for actually using Aligned for proof verification. And so will their users, right? So we have a hackathon going right now with people building ZK apps that we hope to have whitelisted in that program, so people can actually, not directly use Aligned, but use it through the apps that Aligned enables. Something important I forgot to mention is that we want a lot of proofs getting sent to Aligned, because how our system works and check out our docs or our videos, the more proofs that are in a batch, the cheaper it becomes for each proof. So that's kind of the idea behind that. And overall, we're just excited to see what people build. And yeah, stay tuned.
Nice. Cool. Well, I've really enjoyed this one because I didn't have to talk as much and I got to launch Boris. Suffer in a nice crescendo, I would say. So well, thank you for coming and hanging out with us at MinaCon, but then also sharing this with the Mina community and the Aligned community. And for all the Mina builders out there, it sounds like there's a pretty clear call to action to get involved with the testnet and build some stuff that potentially, when the bridge is ready, to be shipped over, and all the other things that Boris mentioned as well. So yeah, Will, thank you. This was awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll finish it with a handshake.
Yeah, pretty professional.
All right. Thank you. See you next time.